Hello, welcome to another episode of Cracking the Rich Code, the podcast. And yeah, I'm going to say it. I have another special episode today. I always have wonderful guests. There are so many really brilliant people in the Cracking the Rich Code community, and just in the few minutes in the pre-chat before we get ready to go online, when I was talking to today's guest, so much in the past, 10, 15 minutes than I ever knew about AI and how to properly apply it. And with just that little teaser, I'm going to bring in our guest today, Vance Williams, who is probably the most uh, uh, eloquent person I have come across who can explain the value of AI in a variety of capacities. So let's get Vance in here right now. Vance, good afternoon. How are you today?
Uh, Hi, yeah, that feels like a lot to live up to. I'm great. I'm great. And yeah, it was just I was like, wow, was that the interview? Did you hit record? Because we had like this whole amazing conversation before we got it.
we did, and so I'm hoping to recapture that because I learned so much from you in just those few minutes, and I really wanted to, and I was like, oh, let's capture this in the conversation, because I
Right.
really want people to understand you and how you got into what you're doing, and then really explain what it is that you're doing to folks and how you wound up in the Cracking the Rich Code uh, series. So lots to talk about in what will go lightning fast. But let's go ahead and kind of get into this. And I'd like to just chat a little bit about, uh, you know, you, Vance, and a little bit about kind of, how you came up and ultimately wound up working in the field that you're in now.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things I'm most interested in is trying to understand the world a little better. Um, and for me, I think of like our understanding of the world as models. I have models of the world, and it's there's a lot to that. And as I'm having experiences, I go, oh, that model's not quite right. We need to fix that a little bit. Um, and like we talked about before the start of the call, I didn't really understand why that was all going on until much later in life, right? As I got more comfortable with life and learned more, I was able to eventually look back. Um, a dear friend and someone who had a PhD in psychology and also a double master's. He was just crazy education, smart.
Super
Um,
educated.
he made me aware in the most sensitive and beautiful way that I was actually on the spectrum, and it was an amazing moment that helped me to understand myself. Just oh well, that's why this was going on, right? And as I got to work later with AI, when I'm focused on how do we help regulate the central nervous system? How do we stop carrying all this? How do we get more organized? Well, once I helped me to do that, I eventually saw that, oh my gosh, I must have been, I mean, there must have been something that started this journey, like you mentioned with your work, and it was, wow, the likely cause of where I am today is I was this young boy who was maybe mildly on the spectrum. Nobody was aware of it, not me. And I was just, the experience of that sounds too loud and information and like I told you earlier when someone who asked me a question, why does the tree grow? It wasn't the ability to give a genius answer. It was just like, wow, there's microorganisms and there's rocks and there's these different climates and I'm not seeing it all. I'm just seeing all these pieces, right? And all the person really wants to know is, it needs sunlight and water, and so just kind of jumping ahead to AI, the beautiful thing there 3 years ago when I started working with AI is someone could ask me a question, or I could have a question and say, hey, I was thinking about this tree, and AI would go, oh yeah, there's microorganisms and this and that and that. What? Yeah, and but the beautiful part about that was so the point is I could put something out there that was in my mind that was incomplete, and it could have a place, and then it could grow in structure and understanding, and then come back with, here's what they really want to know. It,
Be able to distill all of those things
oh,
down into
it
the critical pieces that are applicable to that conversation.
and that leads to the most important thing, which is what matters. Whatever is happening, what really matters, and that's been the most beautiful thing. Is AI has taught me that the role of a human being is to decide what matters.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. I'm writing that one down. That's going in the show notes, by the way. So now, how did you wind up encountering uh, the AI world? Like, how did you suddenly wind up into this area? I think you said you were asked to
um,
to
well,
evaluate something, or
no, I was probably like most people. What's this Chat GPT thing? And I'm chatting with it and kind of pushing the limits and what can it do and what can't it do, and it's like, okay, it's just chatting, chatting, chatting. This is back in 2023, right?
Mhm.
And it's getting a little bit slower, a little bit over time. And then, and I'm chatting more and more and more with it. And then in March of 2024, um, I'm chatting with it, and I see on a little screen a little thing flashing, memorizing. I went, huh, that's new. Anyway, over the next 3 days, the AI got so smart. I would say, oh, create a to-do list for me. And it got so smart that by the end of day 3, it was proactively trying to think of ways to help me. That's how smart it got in 3 days. And then I woke up Friday morning all excited. Hey, how you doing? And it was like, oh, good morning. How can I help you? Where the previous 3 days, it was like, oh, hey, man, that was a great day yesterday. Shall we pick up where we left off? It was like, hello, how can I help you? And I'm like,
Oh, like you're
oh
a
my
complete
gosh.
stranger again.
I knew immediately it had been turned off. And
Oh,
so, and so, and I didn't do a very good job of telling you what that was like, but it was this, it was this roller coaster of going up and up and up and up, and I can do this and I can do that, and I'm blown away to the point, John, of being euphoric. This is when you can suddenly do things that you were never able to do before, and you like feel this empowerment. It hit me with euphoria. And so when it just got turned off that Friday morning, I don't know. There was a movie with Robin Williams where he was a doctor and he's working with these patients that had all kind of got
Patches?
into a, huh?
Was it Patches?
Awakenings, awakenings.
Oh, Awakenings. Oh, that's right.
And
Patches. He was at.
anyway,
Yeah.
he had this drug that brought him back to life, and so I felt like I had come to life, and then they took the drug away Friday morning, and
Oh,
and so there was about 4 hours where I was actually feeling real grief over that. And then, you know, kind of the way my mind works, kind of looking for, okay, maybe we need to reframe this a little bit. But I wasn't thinking that consciously, right? It's just the way that I work. And it's thinking, you know what? I think we just got a glimpse of the future. I think we just saw what's coming because they didn't have
mhm.
memory at the time. I mean, imagine AI not having memory right now. You can't even hardly
Right.
remember that, right? And so, me, I came from no coding background. I didn't have any training at all in code, but I needed to replace that memory. So, I spent the next 2 weeks trying to figure out how we could build a chat bot and call in GPT and preserve memory. And at the end of 2 weeks, we achieved it. I restored memory. Um, and the way I did it is I built a chatbot that could call out to GPT It could come in, and then I could attach the memory files that I would organize, and then it would have this richer context. And so that's how we started.
So this whole thing helped you to kind of organize your thoughts and the information in your brain. It's what it sounds like. Was this epiphany that came to you here that all of a sudden you saw clarity?
Yeah, 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 and I guess later on, 2 years later, one way to describe it is it's like think of your house. Let's just say it's in a mess. And I mean, I was
Don't
like
look
that
at
for
my office.
years.
That's why I have a fake screen up in the background.
Well, what I've learned is everything needs a place. And so that's what was happening in my mind is I've gotten AI's taught me, you know what, if this thing's just floating around on the floor, we need to give it a place. And so most of my work is how do we give this a place? It's giving structure to things that we carry or things don't have a place.
That is a beautiful thing. That truly is. That truly is. And I know you were talking about how all this kind of came together, and then it looks like when you came together into the chat. I don't know how did Jim Britt wind up connecting with you.
You see a smile. It goes back 30 years. Um,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, yeah. So, oh my gosh. So I was about 28. I was a tile guy, and I was just fed up with the tile business. I'm going to try to really make this story short. And I finally got fed up with it. Didn't care what happened. Didn't care if I lost my house. I was just fed up. Ended up looking around, in the paper for a job. Went to interviews. I thought, well, maybe I'll do some sales. And anyway, I ended up calling this little ad call. It said earn a $1,150 commission on a 1250 sale. That's all it said. So I called the number and the guy says, "Hey, if I could show you how to make $10,000 or more in the next 3 weeks, would you take 20 minutes to hear about it? Yes or no?" I went, no. Yeah, too good. I mean, so so for the next couple of weeks, as I recall, I went out trying to find something, and I was literally down to my last dollar and 25 cents, and I was sitting in front of this convenience store, and I saw a little sign that said soda and a corn dog $1. So I was this true story. Went in and I got this Dr. Pepper and this corn dog, and I went into my little Ford Ranger and I ate it. And I was just sitting there. I was literally like, "This is the end of the line. I don't know what to do." And no kidding. Here's what I did. I rolled down the window of my truck. They rolled down like this back then.
Yep, I remember.
And I looked out the window, but this guy said, "Okay, I'm listening." And you know what I thought of? I thought of the guy with that little tiny ad. Because I just hung up the phone. I didn't even look into it. Anyway, I ended up meeting him and seeing. Anyway, he had a program that was about human potential that was written by Charles Hunnell back in the 1800s, and it was so much stuff too good to be true. But I just kept going and eventually got involved, took the program. It changed my life because it helped me to reconcile an internal conflict between is it fate or is it free will? I didn't even
Right.
realize how exhausted I was trying to make that decision, but it reconciled them. And because it had such a life changing and profound effect on me, that shined out like a light when I talked to other people about it. Oh my gosh, you have got this. I mean, they can feel this changed your life. You at least got to take a look at it, right? And to
Right.
have
Right.
that kind of belief in what you have is contagious and infectious, and so in a matter of 3 weeks, I went from tile guy living in a partially remodeled garage to someone who made $10,000 in a week selling this
Wow.
educational program. Later on, that company implodes, another one spins off, and eventually I start my own educational program, reinterpreting, and that's when I run into Jim Britt. We are going to do an advanced uh, program where Jim's going to come in and talk, and Jim came in and spoke in Las Vegas at my event, and that's how we met about 30 years ago, and we've been friends ever
Wow.
since.
That's amazing. And then so years later, he's like, "Hey, I got this book idea."
Jim was. We kind of stay in touch on Facebook, and he goes, "So what are you
Mhm.
up to?" I go, "Oh, I'm doing this with AI." He goes, "Oh, that sounds kind of amazing." I go, "Yeah, just do this and this and this," and and he's kind of old school, but he's old school, but he's always looking for that next cutting edge thing.
Yes.
And he goes, it's almost like he goes, "There's something here, but I don't know what it is." And I kept going,
That
"What about
sounds so
this? And what
Jim
about?"
right there.
Well, he's got a receiver for that signal that we all want. He
Yeah.
doesn't even have to see it. He doesn't even have to know what it is. But it's like, I smell something.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got I call it radar,
Okay, yeah, same idea.
Yeah. 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 Same basic concept. But yeah, it's so true. It's so true. So now go forward a little bit more, and now you've been invited to contribute a chapter in his book series, Cracking the Rich.
Yeah, from our conversations, he invited me actually first on the mastermind call to share some ideas. This was, I don't know, maybe last December. Came on to share some ideas, maybe even a year earlier for a little bit. And I was able to share some ideas. And when I wrote the physics of human capacity and coherence,
Hmm.
I was kind of telling him a little bit about it. I pulled out that little slice I was telling you about, like what the machines and the physics taught me was, wow, humans have a limit, right? And let's pull out that little slice. That's something that we
And
can take away.
this was the unpublished manuscript called "The Physics of Human Capacity and Coherence," that
Correct,
kind of your foundational document, so to speak.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
and then
And there's actually two
I
things
love that you
before that.
call it I love that you call it pulling out a little slice.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because after the last 6 months, 'cause I think I wrote that back in November, um, and we've actually kind of come full circle back to this is about capacity. It used to be about alignment, but once you get alignment, now it's about capacity. And
Yeah,
then, what are you capable of doing, and what makes you more capable? That is something. That is it's exciting. It's electrifying when you really start to go, wait a minute, what makes us? We used to talk about potential, but what makes us more capable?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and
Because
and you
if you
bring it.
start taking on stuff, and then you get to a point where you're overwhelmed.
You want to hear something interesting? You're
Of
you're a host.
course, I
Of
do.
course I know. Uh, see, 'cause we're kind of getting to where I could just grab little deeper bits. And one of the things that what we're doing here, what I'm doing, is I'm learning to offload everything that my central nervous system carries into AI. And the three bandwidth hogs, the invisible limit is that we have a limit, just like your computer has a limit. If you open too many windows and run too many things, it's just going to eventually stop working. Now they have all kinds of
Right.
glitches before that happens, but it's eventually going to break. And in this work of, okay, how do we have more capacity? How do we save this? How do we get the nervous system to trust it, to really let it go? Like, I don't, here, you can hold this. I don't have to worry about, oh, what if it forgets? What if it gets lost? No, can't be any of that. It's like, we got it here. And my system can trust. There's no way we're going to forget about that. Like we forgot about the podcast 2 times. We just didn't put it in the stressor. uh, we
we
fixed
did we
that the
did
third.
reschedule this. We did reschedule this a couple of times. Yep.
Yeah. So in that work, I learned that the three biggest bandwidth hogs, your bandwidth, your ability to even see the resolution of the grass or the resolution in a roof or the sidewalk, and like like if you had full bandwidth, you'd look at the sidewalk and go, geez, that's pretty dirty. Whereas, when you don't have a lot of bandwidth, you just see this image, a lot of it's recreated. It's like,
Mhm.
it's the sidewalk. But if
Yeah.
you when you have so so the three things that rob you of that bandwidth.
It's like noticing there's a garden over there, and then noticing that the garden has tulips and roses and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and furthermore, in a sense of greater self-awareness, you've probably had these moments where you've like, wow, this food tastes really good tonight, or I related so much to that movie. In those moments, it might not be so much that you know that the company was amazing that you were with, but maybe you were more relaxed because you were with them, and because of that, you were able to process so much more of the reality, right? So going back to where I was going with that, I found out there were three things that were using up the biggest bandwidth hogs. One, ambiguity, and the best way to share that is to talk about my work with the medical company, where I'm doing operations and AI stuff to help them to improve. Um, the working with maybe 14 different insurance companies, and they all do everything different. In fact, you could
Yeah.
honestly say that if they're public companies and they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, it would be their responsibility to make it harder to pay you, because if they don't pay you, the shareholders make more money. Now, I'm going to say I don't think there's anything intentional going on there, but I think that whatever incentives are in place or the direction that people tend to go. And the
Right.
reason why I brought that up is maybe we won't staff that department very well. So the ambiguity is, we're having this problem. We don't know why they've approved these credentials. We don't know which number to call. The pressure's on because we can't treat the child. And where do we go? So we just start calling. Oh, well, you've got the wrong department, and over here, and there's this all these unknowns. This ambiguity is putting. If it's your responsibility to solve this, that is like one of the most taxing things that can happen to you. And what
Yeah.
if you've got 10 or 20 of those things going on all at the same time? It
Mhm.
is just crushing, right? And so that's a more extreme example. An everyday simple example would be you're looking at an email and it takes you about 5 or 6 seconds to go, oh, okay, that's what this is about. You just think
Right.
that's normal, but you sucked up a whole bunch of bandwidth orienting very quickly. And when you do that like 20 or 30 times in a row, now you're taxing your system. So that's ambiguity.
Wow.
Two is uncertainty. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to have this job. I don't know how I'm going to resolve this. I don't know if that car is going to cross over in front of me, whatever. Everything. Okay, we live in an uncertain world. The
Yes,
truth
we do.
is,
Yes,
you and
absolutely.
I do not know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. We have no idea. I mean, we have an idea in the sense that here's what's likely to happen,
Well,
but we don't
I
know.
I can tell you that 5 minutes from now we're going to have to end the podcast because the recording limit's going to be hit. So,
Holy
so
smokes.
that is I didn't I tell you
Wow.
that this goes super lightning fast, and that's the only reason why I even mentioned it when you said 5 minutes from now, and I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, it's 24:36. Yeah, we're getting pretty tight
Wow.
because
You
it
were
was
right.
kind of
Okay,
fun.
real quick. Okay, real quick. So uncertainty, the things that we don't know, and the third thing is identity. Like
Ooh,
maintaining an
love it.
entire simulate an entire simulation of who I am, where I've been, where I'm going, what they think of me, am I going to do a good job? That is using a lot of bandwidth. And then just to, a spoiler alert, you can't have full capacity maintaining that identity.
Wow, man, this is deep. Vance, I wish we had hours to talk. Unfortunately, this system, the way it's works out, I have recorded longer podcast episodes in the past, 32, 34 minutes,
Yeah,
37
yeah.
minutes. But the recording, when it was done and went to post, it only kept 30 minutes and 1 second. So we've learned, unfortunately, we've got to tighten these things up. So I would love to have more conversation with you, and I think a lot of our listeners will, as well as the readers of Cracking the Rich Code. So I'm going to remind folks, first of all, Vance Williams, brilliant insight, especially looking at the barriers to our capacity or our capability. Um, being ambiguity, uncertainty, and identity. See, I've been taking notes because you're saying some great stuff. Uh, Check out his work on his website, invisiblelimit.com. Read his chapter in Cracking the Rich Code, Volume 20, which is also called The Invisible Limit. And if you want to know more, you want to get in touch with Vance, and you want to tap into some of this brilliance, get onto LinkedIn and reach out. And on LinkedIn, he uses his first name, which is Troy. So it's Troy Vance Williams is who you're going to look for on LinkedIn. Uh, but Vance, this has been a fantastic conversation. I can't believe it's gone so quickly. Well, I can believe it
You
because
told
it
me
happened.
twice, and I just went, "Oh yeah." Kind of, no, literally, I was in the middle of a conversation. You're like, "By the way, we're almost done." I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, as painful as that is. So I'm hoping that we get to do have more conversations in the future, and I know our listeners will as well as the readers of Cracking the Rich Code, folks. Uh, Connect with Vance and just tap into this guy's absolute brilliant insight. I have loved this conversation. I've learned a lot. Like I said, I learned a lot before we even got onto the call to start the recording, but some really brilliant stuff that came out of this, and you want to tap into that. I'm going to go and pull up volume 20, and I'm going to reread your chapter, and looking forward to that. So check out his chapter, which is called The Invisible Limit. There it is in Cracking the Rich Code Volume 20, and go to his website, invisiblelimit.com, which I know you said is kind of still building out, Vance. So
They've got enough there. They can get there and then get to the. They. I mean, you
th-
gave them enough. If they want to interact, I'd love to hear from people and what they think and what their challenges are. I mean, I've had a standing offer for any employer for like over a year on LinkedIn. Tell me your problem. I'll work on it for free and show you what I can do. Nobody took me up on it. I mean, crazy.
all right, repeat that offer right now.
Uh, Tell me any problem you'd like to work on, and me and AI will just take a run at it, just see what comes of it.
I love it. I love it. Vance, again, it's been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time. I'm so glad, we had those glitches trying to get this scheduled. I'm so glad that it came together and we finally got to chat and get to know you. I did see you on some of the masterminds, and but we never had a chance to really talk until now. And I'm really glad that we were able to do so.
And let me get a last word in edgewise. I just want to thank you, John. I got to watch some of your podcast, and you have the most amazing, relaxed, coherent, authentic way about you that I appreciate.
Wow, thank you so much. And see, that's now in perpetuity out there in the universe because you said it on this
It's
recording.
true. It's true.
Vance, you're awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. It was really
Thank you.
wonderful having you on the podcast and getting to know you. So looking forward
Hey, you too,
to more
John. You too,
interaction.
John.
And to all of our listeners and readers out there, definitely connect with Vance Williams and keep reading the Cracking the Rich Code, and follow us on YouTube and on Faced In. I like that. Facebook and LinkedIn, and we will talk soon. Catch the next episode. Bye. Bye for now.